Eren Kruger forced his mission onto poor Grisha. Wrong. It was Eren pulling the strings the whole time. So what's up guys, Foxen here. Attack on Titan chapter 121. What a mind trip of a chapter. What are you doing, Eren? Cause really, I'm gonna have to have some special wine after this, just to think over what exactly took place. But that comes later. Go ahead and give a colossal thumbs up and let's dive into the Titan realm. Aw, look at that, young Armin and Eren back in the day. One key thing I noticed right from the beginning was Eren doubling down on these being his father's memories. Keep note of this. Then for the other Yeager brother, Zeke, I just loved how Zeke was still butthurt about being betrayed. Why? Why, Eren? Since you clearly weren't brainwashed like I was. As for Grisha here, oh, I heard about you, little Armin. Yeah, come over here, get to know my little man well. Now, time to locate this Mikasa person. Then for Eren, really going back to that theme of being born in this world. Oh yes, I freaking nailed it. I could really just picture Eren thinking to himself, time to start a little bit of my own brainwashing here. And talking about Mikasa, let's actually go back to that first time that Eren met her. They really are revisiting a lot of this stuff. So, does this double down Eren being the one in control? This next scene conveniently happened after talking about not being brainwashed, about Eren having the same mentality, always being himself. But this scene, Eren is clearly demonstrating his true self to Zeke. There is also something you guys should notice, how this scene has constantly been brought up in the past between anime only people, manga people, to really show that Eren was always going to turn into this killer. Naturally, that is ignoring context a tad. Specifically about Mikasa recalling this scene pretty recently. What else could he say might have been hinting at recently that's gonna come back a little bit later? Then back to Eren for this whole chapter really. I really just love this trolling Eren. I mean right here you could hear him talking crap to Zeke. The only pathetic man is a slave to his dead father. Ooh, burn. Right here, there's two key things you should take note of. The first one is interesting and funny in a way, which is Zeke really giving credit to his own papa Grisha for saving Elida. What Grisha was ultimately doing led to us, brother. It really does sound a bit ironic phrasing it like that. Second key thing, notice Eren here. I really hope you guys caught this. He was really taking note of that Eren Mikasa scarf moment. Of course, one that everyone that's watched Attack on Titan remembers. You really get the sense that Eren's feeling bad deep down inside for smashing Mikasa recently. But at the same time, I could really imagine Eren saying, it needed to be done. Next up, Dr. Grisha time. So really interesting how this guy has been dead a while, but he still is getting fleshed out. Unsurprisingly, it turns out Dr. Grisha loved kids. In the good way. There is something here you should notice about Zeke. Once again, you have Zeke doubling down on him having control of the founding Titan. Brother Eren, I don't even need you. I could totally set this plan in motion at any time without you. Come on, really? Think about that for a second. That type of dialogue really sounds like it's coming from someone that isn't really in control. Otherwise, why keep on mentioning it almost randomly? But to be fair to Zeke, even at this point, Zeke is still supposedly going on about wanting Eren to come to his own side. Right here I'm 50-50 with this. It feels like Zeke may be genuine, but at the same time, Zeke is almost clearly lying about being in control of the founding Titan. Hopefully Eren doesn't fall for that crap. And yes, I brought up this quick theory before that ironically Zeke may be the one saved by Eren at the end of all of this. Next up, that Papa Grisha and his beloved picture scene, which keep in mind this was really only the physical evidence that remained of his past life at this point, at least within the walls. And hopefully you caught this at the very bottom. Grisha in the last panel clearly was looking directly at Eren. Definitely take a note of his eyes throughout this chapter. Next up, that scene from episode 1 of Attack on Titan, really going down almost everything. Building on what I mentioned earlier, Grisha in the shot is definitely looking at older Eren. Isayama actually made this work so well. If you look back at the first chapter, Grisha was not looking back at the family. I was really just wondering, could Grisha have been trying to make a statement via this? Like saying, I know you're watching, somebody. Or could it actually have been the reverse? That Eren's presence there was almost equally him pulling the strings on himself. Then for Grisha here, do I smell a little bit of symbolism here? You got poor Papa Grisha in between his two future sons. Over on one side, Zeke, the endgame version. And then Eren sporting that Frida look. And that's not even noting the obvious white versus dark look. That might be a little too on the nose. Next up, the Reiss pancake time. Hell yes. For the longest time, I really thought there was a lot more to this discussion that took place than what the previous anime or manga flashback showed. Clearly, Grisha didn't just show up, say a couple of lines, then go Papa Attack Titan mode versus the founding Titan. Finally, you got Isayama here showing you the truth. First thing to notice, you saw part of this flashback back in the Uprising arc after Papa Grisha did a little bit of handiwork on Eren's back. Really no dialogue in that flashback. It wasn't until Eren touched Historia at the end of Attack on Titan Season 3 that he heard Grisha's plea. However, there wasn't anything from the Reiss family. More specifically, nothing from Frida, Founding Titan version. As for what Frida actually mentioned here, you had Frida going on talking about Judgment Day, in other words, judgment for Eldians for their so-called sins. To me, this actually gave me a slight feeling of a callback to what Uri mentioned to Kenny in his final days about seeing the world collapsing in the near future. I was debating about whether he was talking about the potential Colossal Titan march, or about the Founding Titan power being stolen. As for new info from Frida, I was expecting a little bit more of a reveal for Titan related stuff, but that did not happen. You really just had her going on about weaklings using the Founding Titan sinfully, which in a way does double or triple down on that at this point. And that Eldians must perish. Oh, they're so bad. This right here does bring up a question, a familiar question. If the Founding Titan had the Eldian King mentality, whatever was stopping the Founding Titan from wiping out all Eldians? Clearly the Founding Titan had this power, at least via the Colossal Titans. Surely it couldn't have been the Eldian King waiting for someone else to do it instead of himself. Did this king just not have the Titan-sized gonads to do it himself? To be fair to Attack on Titan, why the Eldians weren't just killed off seems to be from a writing point. No, the Eldians weren't all killed off, they were put into this other caged situation. And just putting story points aside for a second, this does leave more room to question what should have been done and what should not have been done. By the way, let me give some love to Zeke here. Oh, I would have been besties with that Frida chick. Too bad that Grisha ate her. Father ruins everything he touches. Heh, look at you, Eren. As for something important regarding Zeke, he brought up how the previous time that Eren saw this, Eren felt disappointed about Grisha. Specifically that time that Eren saw that inside the Titan cave. Did Radd Reiss want that to happen? In other words, did Radd Reiss, being a Royal Blood member, have some control over that situation? Which, by the way, when did Eren tell Zeke this? Was it back at Marley? Anyway, back to the fabulous Frida. So you got more to talk about them being horrible sinners, past, present, and future. Everyone is guilty. Really just going back to that line of thinking that the kids are guilty of any crime that their parents or even great ancestors commit. Especially Ymir in this situation. I think a lot of you could find parallels to our real life human history with this. And to be honest, some of this stuff still ongoing today. Then for Mr. Freedom over here, Eren was extremely pissed off right here. I would have said pissed off at Frida, but more at this ideology. This person is a complete opposite of freedom. And yes, if it wasn't already extremely obvious, Grisha was clearly conscious of the fact that the future Eren was watching him from behind. So really? Titan memories? What I'm more surprised about is how Zeke did not realize this was happening. Any other time, perhaps Zeke wouldn't have noticed, but now you literally have Grisha looking back at Eren when he had no reason to do so in the actual scene. Come on Zeke, what the hell were you looking at? Alright, so getting into the Attack Titan reveal that the Attack Titan has not obeyed anyone up until this point. This being the minor reveal, then the huge one. I really want to double check the Japanese text here. This really implies that the 9 Titans, specifically the Attack Titan, has his own consciousness, at least to some extent. Naturally, this notion of the 9 Titans potentially having a self-will has been around a while. Now it feels like there's more evidence to support that. As for the actual Attack Titan ability, that's been a question a while, and honestly I'm not sure I'm a fan of this. So the Attack Titan special ability confirmed? Oh, it could see into his future memories from its holders. In other words, not the Attack Titan, but the spoiler-seeing Titan. I really do have to question it. Shouldn't that be possible for any Titan based on how Titan paths are set up, especially for the Founding Titan? Also, if the Attack Titan was preparing itself to fight against the Eldian King, what the hell was it doing supposedly from the time that Ymir died up until the Great Titan War? Was it just idly sitting around? That would have been around 1900 years or so of the Attack Titan not doing anything. Was the Attack Titan just waiting for this Eldian King to rise up, then counteract this Titan virus? Even Frida looked shocked as hell. To further add to this notion of seeing future memories now brings up a lot of questions. When did Grisha realize this? To what extent could a person see future memories? Is there fragments or is it every single thing? When did Grisha first start seeing those memories? How long has Eren been pushing memories back down to Grisha? Honestly, all of this makes me think back to Eren in that jail cell yelling, "Fight! Fight!" Was that a message / memory fragment for Frida or rather Grisha? Anyway, getting into more of Grisha's past. Grisha already knew the horrible future that was coming. But notice, even at this point, Grisha still didn't want to make those mini pancakes. So now let's actually get to the twist. So Grisha, you don't want to do it, but you still got this little devil motivating you, just telling you to do it. Do it, Grisha. I really have to hand it for Eren opening up that Fey wound. But honestly, was this really how it all happened? Was it really just future Eren motivating his father? Cause if you actually think about it, Grisha would have had to done it himself in the first place, for Eren to even be alive, or any of the current events to be in motion. By the way, notice this. What do we have here? Something that I bet will be extremely steamy in Attack on Titan Season 4. Right here, notice Eren. Really, take a note of this guy's face. I know a lot of people are trying to oversimplify Eren as being the villain, but this guy doesn't look happy at all that it's come down to this. Specifically, this whole mess that included taking out these Reiss kids. Hopefully Zeke was taking notice. Then also notice something here for Radd. It literally must have been the fastest this guy had ever run. Father of the fricking year. As for the Grisha aftermath, we had the guy grabbing one of those Titan syringes from either his own bag or snatching one from the Reiss family. Grisha should have really searched around for more of those Titan meds. As for a little surprise here, so yeah, Grisha is super horrified after taking out those kids. The really surprising part was him yelling out to Eren of all people. This feels like it partially answers some of the previous mysteries I brought up. Turns out Grisha was only given memory fragments, not the whole situation, not the whole line of events coming forward. Which really just means it really was future Eren pulling the strings the entire time. Oh, and by the way, Zeke, your plan will fail. Eren wins. Eren says you're free at the end of Attack on Titan. And behind this whole thing was not Eren, but Isayama the entire time. Right here in the top right. So you got a reference to Eren gaining those memories when he smooched on the blonde queen. I was really wondering, was this the time that the memories got transferred to Grisha? How much of the future did Grisha actually see? If you actually think back to the anime, this was the point that Eren looked physically changed as well. Really apparent in the Attack on Titan Season 3 anime. Next up, this scene. It was at this moment where I really realized it. Unfortunately, Zeke, you are not in control. Come on, all of a sudden you have Grisha seeing Zeke at a very, very convenient moment. Eren must have been like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to do this. Oh, sorry Zeke, I always loved you. Now look back at Eren. This was definitely Eren being in control of the whole series of events. I'm really questioning if any of this stuff was real in the first place. To paraphrase an interesting drunk individual, it's all about blending lies with the truth to get something truly scrumptious. I'm betting that only some of this really took place. Oh, Isayama, you fox, you. Anyway, back into the Titan realm. Come on, Eren, just scream it. All according to Keikaku. You gotta really love this trolling Eren. Wait up, Oni-chan. We didn't see when I ate our dear papa. And after that scene, how about we go back in time? How about the time you were made, buddy? Turns out you were just an accident. It really sucks that we missed out on that final moment. Hopefully they circle back to more memories. Did Grisha see anything before his eventual demise? I'm betting that there's something hidden in those final few minutes from Grisha that was not shown yet. Otherwise, it would be odd since it seemed like Grisha was against Eren's plan. But was Grisha just horrified about the future coming, that he ultimately had to follow Eren's plan, despite not being fully on board with it? Next up, that whole Historia Eren scene. So yes, you have it confirmed. Eren via Historia gained full access to those juicy Titan memories. Notably, Eren still needed the royal blood touch for this to even work. As for the final scene, oh my god, Eren is super hardcore. And ironically, you have Ymir moving forward non-stop now. So for the whole events that took place this chapter, especially the end part and some of the reveals there, I do want a little bit more time to digest this, but here's my quick thoughts on the end scene. Honestly, I'm not buying a lot of this. If Zeke was able to command Ymir and by extension the founding Titan power, why didn't Zeke just do it? And no, forget about the whole I want Eren to be on my side thing. That could have come after activating the founding Titan power. So my quick theory on these events. Zeke really got played this chapter. The thing is, Zeke knows he got played, and now you have Zeke switching into Zeke mastermind mode. Zeke may have control of the Titan realm, but not the actual founding Titan powers. You had Zeke just issuing a command to Ymir, but really, the girl was only moving forward. The key to this Titan puzzle is ultimately Eren. Eren, as the founding Titan power, as soon as he touches Ymir-chan, it's only then that Zeke's command would go into motion. The key part being Eren willingly touching Ymir. That's my quick Titan theory right now. What are your thoughts? Who really is in control? What's the lie? What's the truth? Anyway, putting my theory aside for a moment, something else you should notice was Zeke's info drop on Ymir. Supposedly no one able to stop her in this world once she advances forward. Eren, you gotta stop that lowly now. I'm sure that Isayama is throwing in this parallel to the Attack Titan ideology. Assuming all of this works as it seems, this really doubles down on Ymir being a slave to the Titan realm and the Titan power. It also seems to imply that the founding Titan power is either that glowing Christmas tree, or that the little girl needs to touch that for the founding Titans to even function, which would make sense. You got all the Eldians being connected through paths, and those paths being connected to the founding Titan, which ultimately lead to this glow-in-the-dark Titan tree. On top of this, I actually noticed little Ymir. Up until this point, her eyes were hidden. Turns out she actually had them closed this entire time. Is Ymir in some internal slumber? I do have my suspicion that Isayama is dropping a huge hint here. By the way, it looks like the Titan Realm stuff is continuing. So, prediction called. I really see this whole Titan Realm experience continuing for another chapter or two. By the way, really quickly, the new Konosuba movie is out. Definitely check out my in-depth non-spoiler review, that's out now. This really could be the best Konosuba done yet. No joke. Except for the tons in the movie. And Attack on Titan Chapter 121's discussion video will be next Friday. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter and tweet me your questions now. Guaranteed questions for Patreon supporters. Not to mention, you'll get access to my streams to talk about this stuff live. Anyway, more important, let me hear your thoughts. Has everything in Attack on Titan changed now? Which Yeager brother are you rooting for? Don't miss out on my extra spicy video on Demon Slayer. Check out Konosuba and My Hero Academia Season 4, and I'll see you guys later.